time in Peoria and elsewhere. John Yang reporting for us tonight. John, thanks. There's an awful story developing overseas tonight. A building collapse in Bangladesh that killed at least 87 people, injured more than 1,000. Search for victims, as you see, is still ongoing. The building housed several different garment factories that supply clothing to retailers, mostly in Europe. This is the...
That's what he just said. Distributing mostly to Europe.
Third major deadly incident since late last year at garment factories, specifically in Bangladesh, where billions of dollars worth of clothing is exported to the U.S., among other countries, every year.
And then he says exported to the U.S., among other places.
Here. Back in this country, the George...
Yeah. Check this story out. Here's the family that runs this country.
George W. Bush Presidential Library set to open tomorrow. This is live picture of the scene on the campus of SMU in Dallas tonight. Tomorrow's dedication ceremony will be attended by the 5 people alive who know what it's like to sit in the Oval Office. President Barack Obama, both Bushes, 41 and 43, Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter. We get our report tonight from NBC's David Gregory, who was our White House correspondent during the Bush 43 years.
Bush 43 years.
It's difficult to remember just how popular President Bush was in the immediate aftermath of 9/11.
I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us.
You knocked those buildings down.
The fact that America was not attacked again during the Bush years is a lasting legacy. But so too is the bitter debate over whether the war on terror eroded civil liberties. Mr. Bush will always be viewed as a wartime leader, but it was the decision to invade Iraq that would prove the most divisive.
Disgusting.
It's a war of necessity. You
lied your way into the war.
We had no choice. When we look at the intelligence I looked at,
it's the intelligence.
The man was a threat.
The faulty intelligence, the failure to find weapons of mass destruction, formed the backdrop to criticism that the president underestimated the challenges he faced.
War crimes.
The United States and our allies have prevailed.
And grew stubborn in the face of mounting
setbacks. Then why is it still going on?
And I read the front page, and I know the speculation,
You're a fucking ass clown.
But I'm the decider.
What grew into a reputation for incompetence stained the administration and the GOP brand.
No, you're not. The people
after Hurricane Katrina.
This is a president who, in his own time, he would be the first to say is very unpopular. You look at the Republican convention last year, George W. Bush's name was barely mentioned.
As the economy even now struggles to climb back from the near collapse of 2008, many Americans still blame President Bush, holding him even more accountable for the state of the economy that
He's the one that started the bailouts.
Last fall's election exit
poll.
These issues overshadow other accomplishments. The president's place in launching a school reform movement.
That's not an
accomplishment. His work to combat AIDS in Africa.
Oh, you mean to help spread it?
Even his willingness to tackle entitlement
And there's a
spending.
joke right
I
there.
think these are issues that over time will wear very well. They'll show that the president was forward-looking and knew where the country was headed.
Oh, bullshit.
And as I talked to advisors of President Bush's over the past several days, they think that's being borne out, that idea. With current events, look, the Republican Party's moving back toward President Bush on immigration. And when it comes to the war on terrorism, they point out President Obama has continued many of President Bush's counter-terror policies. Brian?
Our former White House correspondent, David Gregory, these days moderator of Meet the Press. David, we'll check back in with you tomorrow night. We want to let you know tomorrow morning on Today, Matt Lauer will have an exclusive live interview with former President Bush, and we'll get the first tour through the new Bush Presidential Library. Still ahead for us tonight, 4 years for the price of one, facing a mountain of debt, a growing number of American families.
You students. Madman back and out.